Hello my fragrance friends, it's Kat and I'm back today to talk about an Australian Gourmand fragrance brand. So there are some pretty cool little small brands floating around Australia and some of them are bringing out some really interesting stuff. So I'm going to do a series where I just sort of feature some sort of lesser known Australian fragrances because there's some good stuff out there. The first brand I want to talk about, and I've been sitting on this for a couple of months now because I want to see if these were going to change or mature or anything over time before I told you about them. But this is the brand Setsuna. I originally thought it was Setsuna. It's not, it's Setsuna. They're described as a high concentration, small batch, handmade in Sydney fragrance brand. They currently have two fragrances available. The one that they first brought out was Dancing in the Moonlight, which is this white box here. I'll show you the bottle in a second. And then a few months ago, they released In Love Someday, which is a bit of a marshmallowy scent. So let's talk about them both, what I think about them and would I recommend them. So let's start with the first fragrance they released. So this is Dancing in the Moonlight. It comes in this white box. It does have cute little sort of designs on the back. It feels a little bit like romantic fairy tale-esque, but not like too cringy. The bottle's really cute. It's this little sort of painted glass bottle with a circle lid to it, so it's quite simple but really effective. On the website they describe this as being their signature scent. It's Australian made, small batch and hand poured. So the top notes are vanilla caramel cake, heart notes are marshmallow ice cream, base notes are sugared musk and white chocolate. Now everything about that sounded like something I wanted to spray on myself. This is the one that for me personally I like the least out of the two, because there is something in this that goes a bit funny on me. I think it's the musk. I'm not too sure. I get vanilla, I get sort of caramel notes, I get a little bit of that ice cream, but the musk is very animalic to me. It doesn't contain any animal ingredients or animal derived ingredients. It's just how it sits on my skin or how my nose perceives it. But another thing that it does, it tends to settle down to have this sort of vegetable smell to it as well, which is odd. Now it's not the only fragrance that's done that to me. This is why I do reviews, because I find that things go funny on me and other people don't have the experiences. So I feel like for the people like in the minority that experience what I experience, I want to sort of warn you. This sort of has like what I would call like a celery note that I get with Le Tarte Tatin. So with Le Tarte Tatin, it did have this sort of strong celery note to it, and I also tried a dupe and it also had that. So there must be an ingredient that might be in this, might be in those, that sort of turns a bit like vegetable on me. It's not too bad in this, but that animalic musk is really quite distracting for me, and it takes away from that beautiful sort of cakey marshmallowy ice cream note that other people probably get quite loud. This is a strong fragrance. On the website they do warn to sort of like spray it and then just wait a bit before you smell it on yourself because it is quite strong. But that animalic note to me, it sort of reminds me of like a really sort of, body odor is a bad term, but like a body odor musk. Some people might be like, oh, I like that. Other people are like, oh, hang on, it smells like sweaty bodies. But it also has a little bit of, you know, when people smell their like pet's paw and it's got that sort of like musky, popcorny, feety smell. I smell a little bit of that in this. So for me, this is not my favorite. I think for some people it'll be amazing. But if notes go a bit funny on you, I wouldn't blind buy this. They do have samples on the website. The 50ml is around, it's 120 Australian dollars, but you can also buy them in like multi-packs and stuff. So you can get them a little bit cheaper in packs, but just be aware that this one, even though it sounds like the most perfect Gourmand fragrance, on me, it sits a bit funny. Over time, so when I first applied this, I was like, I don't think I can handle this. But over time, I'm like using it, and I don't know if I'm getting used to the musky scent or it's toning down a little bit. Interestingly, on paper, I smell a little bit of that vegetable note, but I'm not getting that animalic musk. So potentially that's just how that particular ingredient sits on my skin. Some people will dig it though. Some people I know love that sort of like animalistic, musky, sort of like really like described as being like sexy. It's sort of like body odor, but like in a curated nice way. So I'm okay with this. I'm not like selling it. I'm coming around to it, but I for me, it doesn't deliver on what the notes say. And again, I think that's a body chemistry thing. What I do prefer and what I think is a lot more impressive is their second offering. Now, I know the lighting at the moment is washing this out. It's also doing it with my neon dress, so ignore that. But this is a really beautiful powdery, you can see it's like a powdery like lilac color, and it's very, very beautiful. I love the burgundy accents. I kept the box because when you open this, it's just so impressive the way they've packaged this. It's simple but really effective. They've got that dark red velvet. They've got this beautiful sort of, I don't even know, like pastel purple bottle that just looks so interesting with the burgundy. I love it. I think it's such like a level up from the white. It does have a little like mermaid in a crescent mood on the back, and it says a moment, an instant. There is just something about this that I think is very like, it deserves going viral because it's really beautiful. I can see this being really beautiful on someone's like perfume table. For me, again, I just want to keep it in the box because I think the box is delightful. It came with matching tissue paper in the package. Like they just really, it was well thought out. This one does go a bit funny in the opening, but settles down really beautifully. It's less intense as Dancing in the Moonlight. I think this one is a stronger fragrance and projects further, but I think this one is really lovely. So for me, I just think this is a stronger presentation and also a stronger fragrance on my body chemistry anyway. So this is not on Fragrantica, it doesn't have the note breakdown, but I'll just read from the website. So it contains candied iris blossom that opens this perfume to add a more subtle, flowery, powdery top note. And it transforms to a fluffy yet thick vanilla milkshake heart note, adding creaminess, paving way for the true lingering scent purple marshmallows. Now, I think purple marshmallows is a perfect way to describe this. What is purple marshmallows? I don't know, but I think this is it. I do think it is different from the other marshmallows that I've tried. I've got a lot of strawberry marshmallow fragrances in my collection. I've got some like tea marshmallow ones. I have a lot of vanilla ones, all that kind of stuff, a lot of sugary marshmallow. This is different because of that iris note. The only odd thing I get with this is in the opening, sometimes I'll smell like a synthetic, almost like a vinyl plasticky scent, but that does dissipate pretty quickly. And then what I love about it is that candied iris blossom does add a powderiness. It almost gives a sort of like vintage marshmallow vibe, but it also sometimes adds what I think to be what seems like a bit of a cooling element. So it's almost like a cooling like ice cream marshmallow. It's really interesting. So they're right, it's not your typical marshmallow. There is something that's got a differentiating point about this. It does last all day, but it does become a skin scent. So again, this is not a big projecting one. I do think this one projects further despite me not loving how it smells. It is a really strong fragrance. This one is just that really beautiful refined marshmallow. This is probably like a Nana Glam marshmallow for me. So you think of like when they had like candy that was like floral scented back in the day, and you associate that with like grandmas with purple curly hair. This is kind of a marshmallow that encapsulates that, but in like a modern way. It's odd, but it works. I just thought I'd give an update. So I've had these fragrances on for quite a few hours now, and I keep smelling my arm that's got the purple one. It's like this really like soft skin scent, but fluffy marshmallow with a little bit of like, it's not too photorealistic, it's not too gourmand. There's a little bit of like powdery floralness going on. It's like a sophisticated marshmallow. I really like it. The other arm, it's fine. I can probably layer that and make it work, but yeah, the marshmallow one, very nice. They do only ship within Australia, so just be mindful of that. Good timing. It appears that Setsuna is now available in the US at thefragmint.com. So if you did want to pick up anything from this brand, there is an international stockist. Hooray! So yeah, that's my thoughts on Setsuna and their two fragrances that are available. For me, this is definitely the winner, but this one has really great reviews, so if you don't have issues with some notes turning a bit odd on you, this might be one you want to try. But if you are curious, there are sampler packs available as well. So they do also ship really quickly. I had really great experience with customer service. They're really responsive to messages on like TikTok and Instagram and stuff. So yeah, definitely a brand to look out for. And despite it not really working for me, I had a good experience and I'm glad I tried them. So let me know in the comments if you've tried this brand and what you think about them. Otherwise, let me know which one sounds more interesting. And of course, disregard my comment about the musky body odor and the celery, because that's not in the notes. That's just my body and my nose being strange. So let me know what you think about these and I'll chat to you in the comments. Bye.